What's going on, everybody? Tucker Bagley with Eliot Shorr-Parks, live from Lincoln Financial Field, live from the press box there at the Linc, recapping first half of Eagles Steelers. Pretty eventful first half, Eliot. I think the first 20 minutes probably went as good as anyone could expect. Now we have some injuries and some storylines from the last 10 minutes, but I want to start with the good. I want to start with the
Yeah.
offense, and it was kind of predictable, right? Like we thought they would force feed it to A.J. Brown. They did. 5 catches, 65 yards, and a touchdown, and probably the best Jalen Hurts has looked as a passer all year. I mean, he was sharp. He was getting the ball out all time, on time. What did you see from the offense in the first half?
Yeah, it really was a tale of like the first 20 minutes and the last 10 minutes. I think the first 20 minutes, maybe the most encouraging 20 minutes of the Eagles season. You look at how well the defense played. Obviously, the offense is going to be the storyline, but like the defense was outstanding to start this game. That being said, they came into this game with a clear desire to show everybody, hey, we can throw the ball. Like that was the attitude I saw from this team. It was all week people said we couldn't throw the ball. Jalen couldn't throw the ball. AJ and Jalen don't get along. And let's be honest, like for good reason. They were not good throwing the ball last week, and Jalen and AJ stuff came from their own teammates. So it wasn't out of control that these were the talking points all week that, dominated the conversation around the team. But they came out and they were absolutely outstanding. Jalen was laser sharp with the ball. I thought not only did he look good throwing the ball, I thought his decisions were outstanding. And I thought for almost all of his passes, the placement could not have been better. Hitting AJ over the middle, AJ on the touchdown, the throw to AJ down the left sideline where he put it where really only AJ could get it. I mean, it was, to your point, maybe the best Jalen has looked all season. So to come out and do that, I mean, he had a perfect passer rating after the first quarter. And then the celebration, like after that pass to AJ for the touchdown in the back of the end zone, I watched AJ the whole time. The second he caught that ball, it was clear in his mind, I'm going to find Jalen Hurts so we can celebrate. And that's what he did. He ran, he found Jalen. They did their cool and kid celebration. I can never say it. I don't know what it is. That reference is too old for me. But they go and they have that celebration, and like everything feels like it's perfect with the team, right? They were up, I think, was it 17-3 at one point,
It
or
was
they were they
17-3 after the Devontae Smith
yeah.
touchdown.
So 17-3. I mean, it truly being in the building felt like this is the kind of statement game the Eagles really needed. And look, it could still be that for sure, but to your point, things kind of changed in those final 10 minutes.
Yeah, so the Steelers obviously go on that big drive, 11 plays, 70 yards. Kind of the turning point, I thought, was the penalty on Reed Blankenship, which I just thought was
Yeah.
a little ridiculous. What is he supposed to do there? Justin Fields slides into him, and does Justin Fields deserve the quarterback, protection when he's not a quarterback in that play? He's, pretty much
Well,
a.
I think if it was Kenny Pickett, people would want that call. But I do
But
think
he's not in
like
there as a quarterback, right? Like
no,
if Saquon Barkley took the snap and did that, would he get the penalty? Like Justin Fields isn't brought in there to be a running or be a
well,
quarterback.
he could have. Yeah, no, I get your point. I mean, he could have thrown the ball. Like, obviously, he got it and starts to run immediately, so there was never really a threat of a pass. But outside of like whether he's a quarterback, running back, whatever, I thought it was a pretty clean hit from Reed. Like Justin wasn't clearly sliding, and at least on the replay I saw, and I've only seen it once, it looked like he got him shoulder to shoulder, at least pretty close to it. So I agree with you. I didn't think that was a great call. The defense, like, look, absolutely outstanding to start. I think Dylan gave up 11 total yards on the Steelers' first 5 possessions, which is unbelievable for any defense versus any offense, but especially in today's NFL to do that was wild. The last few drives, not great, to your point, right? I thought the touchdown pass to Pat Fryermuth was like, it looked like CJ was out of position. He almost gets back in time to get the interception. You wonder if maybe he'd be better off just trying to bat it down there instead of rip it away. But yeah, overall, like, I think the offense is playing really well. I thought the defense had 2 bad drives at the end there, but otherwise they've been pretty dominant. Like, I think that this is still this could very much end up being, when we're doing the post-game show, like a statement win of the season where everyone can take a deep breath. But it's only a 4-point game. The Steelers are awesome at winning close games. They have the best kicker in the NFL. Like, those are the worries heading into the second half.
Yeah, and I think the other thing to talk about is Saquon Barkley not being on the
Yeah.
field the final 13
Yep.
minutes of the game. He had 7 carries for 31 yards. They kept replaying kind of that big hit that he took where Minka Fitzpatrick sort of just dumped him on his shoulder at the line of scrimmage. Finished with 7 carries for 31 yards. He had that 22-yard run in the first quarter, and then he never came back in the final 13 minutes. He was briefly in the medical tent, spent a lot of time on the sideline, had his helmet on, was kind of like in the
Yeah.
huddle during timeouts, was kind of on and off the sideline. Didn't really give any indication. There hasn't been an update from the Eagles PR staff as to whether or not he's hurt. It's just kind of an interesting situation now for a guy who we expect it to be a big part of this offense for obvious reasons, and he's been missing now for 13 minutes.
Well, I feel like all year on this pod and on WIP and just in general conversation, it's been, well, are they gonna be able to throw it when they have to? This might be the first real scenario where that's the case because up from the press box, and obviously I'm not down on the sideline, but just up on the from the press box, Saquon is clearly working through something. He came out of the medical tent. It looked like he was kind of pulling his pants up as he came out. The way he's stretching, the way the like trainers are working with him, it seems as if, and this is just my guess from up at the press box, like maybe lower back, hip, like upper quad area is kind of the movements he's doing. Um, to your point, had a helmet on when he came out. Like it looked like he was going to be good to go. But they've had the ball twice since he went into medical tent. He hasn't touched it on either of those drives. I'm not even sure he's been in the game at all since he's come out of the medical tent. So definitely something to monitor. The fact that it's a lower body is obviously worrisome. There's been no like injury designation from the team. He's not questionable return or anything like that. We'll see if we get one here at halftime at the start of the third quarter. I even thought early in the game, though, you already had the 7 carries. It felt like there was more Kenny Gainwell today. Like early on, it felt like they were trying to get Kenny Gainwell the ball, or at least he was in there for Saquon. Um, so I definitely think Saquon is working through something. And look, it's a good day to be having a good day passing the ball because I think the offensive line for the most part has been pretty good. Obviously, Watt got through on that one play, and I will say, like, credit to Jalen Hurts for holding on to that ball there. You could argue maybe he should feel him a little more, but if you have TJ Watt, coming at you from behind, your arm is down the way it was Jalen's arm was with the ball in your hand. That is more times than not going to result in a forced fumble. And the other really impressive thing I'll say about this first half is to be up as much as they were, to be up 17-3, to have it be like 198-11 in yards or whatever it was, despite the fact they turned it over twice, really shows how dominant they were to start this game. And how many times this year at halftime for these things, I mean, you come on and said no points in the first quarter, no points in the first quarter. They get 10 points in the first quarter. So really, the start of the game could not be going better for this team. Like, just outside of the turnovers, it all has been working pretty perfectly. It's really just that last little bit. And now only being a 4-point game, like if Saquon is not going to play the rest of the game, and we'll see, like this one is on Jalen in the passing game. It just is. Like this is the moment everyone's been waiting for, and we're going to see if they can do it against a really good defense.
Yeah, you mentioned the points in the first quarter. They scored 10 in the first, despite 2 fumbles. They scored 10 points in the first quarter.
Yep,
First time
yeah.
they scored 10 points in the first quarter since week 1 of last season, which is pretty unbelievable for a team that previously kind of made the mark for being a team that starts hot. But you mentioned like the passing game to me, I thought has been fantastic, and the
Yep.
creativity Kellen Moore has used to kind of unlock some things. They've used both Saquon Barkley and Kenny Gainwell kind of split out wide. They've been using motion at the snap a lot more to get guys open and to get guys open on short crossing routes. So it'll be interesting to see if Barkley is out, if they have to lean more pass heavy, which I think they had an 18-10 pass to run split in the first
Yeah.
half.
Well,
which I
they're
imagine-
going to have to.
and they're going to
gonna
have to, and
Yeah.
obviously that's
Yeah.
that's by far their biggest difference through the season. But we'll figure out kind of where things go in the second half. Everyone, please tune in. Eliot and James will be live as soon as the game's over to break down the second half of this game. We'll be live again later in the week, but for right now, I'll let Eliot go back. I'll let him go, get some catering, get some food. We'll hang out. We'll watch the second half, and we'll reconvene